One of the biggest causes of business failure is getting your pricing wrong. It's absolutely essential to get your pricing strategy right in order to maximise profits, but also to maximise sales. Keep watching and I'll explain pricing strategies, the best ones to adopt, and how you can ensure that you will always charge the right price to maximise profitability and sales. Hi, my name's Darren Bugg. I've got over 35 years experience in business, including over 20 years running my own successful businesses and several years also working as a university lecturer in business studies. Now, pricing is one of the most important aspects of your marketing strategy and your business strategy overall. Too many businesses fail because they charge the wrong prices, and this either affects their sales or it affects their profitability. There are 8 main pricing strategies that you can adopt, and in reality you're probably going to use a hybrid of several of these strategies that I'm going to explain now. But if you've seen my other shorter film, then you'll know that I always advise the best strategy is something called market pricing, and that is basically getting as much money as you can out of the customer. But it's not quite that simple. So if you have already watched my shorter film, it's now important to watch this longer film right to the end, because I'll explain the 8 different strategies that you can adopt, and I'll suggest which ones are the best ones to use to maximise sales and profitability. So let's get going, and we'll start off with strategy number 1, which is known as cost plus pricing. Cost plus pricing is the simplest form of pricing. It's a very crude and basic form of pricing strategy, and it basically involves taking your costs of production or your cost of sales and then adding on a set percentage or a set amount of money to the costs that you've incurred. So as you'd imagine, it is mainly used for physical, tangible products rather than services, for example in retailing, wholesaling and manufacturing. It can occasionally be partly used within the service sector though, particularly in hospitality, where there might be a physical, tangible element as well as service. So for example in restaurants, in pubs, in bars, or anywhere that's serving food, where it is a service sector industry, but there's also a tangible physical product as well. But when cost plus pricing is used in the service sector, it's usually used in conjunction with one of the other pricing strategies that I'm going to talk about now. Now, the second strategy you need to know about is fee-based pricing, and this is simply where you're selling your time rather than selling a physical product. So fee-based pricing is almost entirely used within services, and it can be any type of service right across the board, right from blue-collar services like plumbing, electricals, roofing, that type of thing, going all the way through to professional B2B services like accountancy, marketing. It could be absolutely any service where somebody is actually selling their time, and this is a particular type of strategy where you need to make sure you're not underselling yourself. Now, conditional fee pricing is an extension of fee-based pricing, and the only difference is if you don't fulfill a particular condition, then you don't get paid. So it's most commonly associated with the legal field in, for example, cases that are no win, no fee. Although it can sometimes also be used by sales companies where they don't get paid if they don't actually achieve success. Package pricing is not really the best pricing strategy to use unless you want to shift units. If you've got a lot of products you want to get rid of quickly, then you can put together a package, and that package goes with a discount or some other incentive or some other benefit to the buyer. Bear this in mind. If you're going to try and sell a package of products or a package of services together, then the customer will want some kind of benefit for buying that package. So for example, if you are selling clothes, if you're selling a suit for example, then if you're going to sell the jacket, the trousers and the waistcoat together, then the customer is going to want to get that at a cheaper price than if they buy the items individually. So package pricing, a good method of selling volume. Well, we're now halfway through these 8 strategies, but please make sure you watch right to the end, because the last 2 strategies are the most important, and they're the ones that I would usually advise most businesses should use. Although depending on your product or depending on your service, you're probably going to use a hybrid of several of these strategies, but the last 2 at the end are the most important. If you're new to this channel, my name's Darren Bugg and this is called Business Success Secrets. I upload new films every week and they're based on my own personal experience of running businesses for over 20 years and also on a lot of academic research, because I also work as a part-time university lecturer in business studies. So everything I teach you on this channel is backed up by science and academic research. If you could like, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff, it would be really useful for me. I don't charge anything to subscribe to this channel or to be involved in the channel, and I'm also very happy to answer any questions. So if there's anything you don't understand, if you've got any questions at all, just put them in the box below and I will genuinely try to help you and do what I can to answer your questions, and no charges involved. So please just put your questions in the box below and I'll help you if I can. Okay, well let's get back to the strategies, and we're now moving on to pricing strategy number 5. Competitor focused pricing is not a long-term pricing strategy, it's a short-term pricing strategy. You cannot base your entire pricing strategy just on competitor focused pricing, because if you do that, then you are at the whims of your competitors and you have to base your prices on what they're charging. But it can be a great short-term strategy. For example, if your competitors are having a sale or if they've reduced their prices for any particular reason, then you may wish to do the same thing yourself to keep in line with your competitors. And as you'd imagine, competitor-focused pricing is usually only used where the elasticity of supply and demand is particularly tight. So for example, if a customer is very price sensitive, then you're going to have to use competitor focused pricing to keep in line with what your customers actually want. If what you're selling, whether it's a product or a service, is not price sensitive, then the whole situation is different. You don't have to worry about what your competitors are charging. But usually most customers are price sensitive to a certain extent. And in some industries, in some services, customers can be very price sensitive. So obviously you've got to keep an eye on what your competitors are doing and adjust your prices accordingly. But if it's overused, it can be a very dangerous strategy. And promotional pricing can also be a very dangerous strategy. Obviously, it's only a short-term strategy. It's something to be used when, for example, if you're running a service and you've got some spare time, you might want to reduce your prices for a while to get more business in. Or if you've got an overstock of products that you need to get rid of, for example in the fashion industry, then you might use promotional pricing. But it can't be used as a long-term strategy, and there's a very good reason for that, because people start getting used to the promotional price. We've all seen it in the furniture industry where, for example, sofas are always on sale at a discount. They're always on sale in furniture shops, and eventually the customer gets used to that lower price, and then it's no longer a promotion. A promotion, if you say 50% off, only actually works if it is a short-term thing to encourage people to start buying. So it's not a long-term strategy. It's only a short-term strategy, but it can be effective if you've got a bit of short time that you need to use up, or some extra products you want to sell. Now, market pricing is my own particular favourite, and if you watch my other films about pricing on YouTube, then you'll know that I always encourage people to use some element of market pricing. And what that basically means is you're charging what you think you can get from the customer. It might sound a bit cynical, but that is the very best way to run a business. Charge whatever the customer is prepared to pay for the product or for the service. And it's amazing how many people don't do that. It's amazing how many people are too cheap or too expensive. Both of these are a bad idea. If you're too expensive, you're going to lose customers, and if you are too cheap, then obviously you're going to lose profits. And market pricing is the one to aim for if possible. Charge what the customer actually wants. The final pricing strategy, sometimes known as strategic pricing and sometimes dynamic pricing, but I'm going to call it dynamic pricing here because it is a phrase that's in use a lot at the moment. And if you tried to buy tickets for an Oasis concert recently, then you'll know all about dynamic pricing. Now, dynamic pricing deserves an entire film on its own, and for that reason I'm not going to talk about it here at all. I'm going to suggest that you click on the link that's coming up very soon, because I've made another film all about dynamic pricing and how you can use it to your advantage. It deserves an entire film on its own, and that's dynamic pricing. So that's it. Those are the 8 pricing strategies. And I always advise people to try and use, wherever possible, market pricing, because that's where you're going to actually maximize your profit and get what the market will actually pay you. And sometimes that means your prices have to go down, and sometimes it means your prices have to go up. But I totally understand that you're probably going to be using a hybrid of several of these strategies depending on your business or service. I hope you found this very useful. I upload films every week on this channel on business success secrets, so please like, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. It's really helpful for me. And don't forget, I'm more than happy to answer any questions, so please just put your questions in the box below. There's no cost involved. If I can help you, I'll do my very best to help you. Until next time, I hope you're successful in everything you do, and I'll see you again soon.